What's up, guys? Welcome to Life Knowledge. My name is Justin Alphabet. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'm going to teach you guys today how to manage your money. Okay, so you guys are trying to figure out how to manage your money, and I have a lot of great tips on how to do this. So I'm going to start off with like some just tips and tricks that I've personally done, and then maybe just go into more like detailed versions of it as well. All right, so when I was first trying to manage my money, I discovered that there are two ways to manage money specifically. And the one way is you can save money to get more money, or you can earn more money to get more money. And typically, like for example, like let's say you make $15 an hour or $10 an hour, like you just have a regular job, a wage job. It's a little bit harder and it takes longer to save up when you don't increase how much you're getting paid per hour, right? So the better option, which you may discover, is to figure out ways to increase how much you're paid per hour. If you're getting paid $10 per hour versus $20 per hour, you will reach your goals twice as fast and be able to manage money in a better way. Increase your personal value, have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself, believe that you can make $20 an hour or more, whatever number you set as your amount that you're worth. There are so many different kinds of jobs out there that if you look long enough, you look hard enough, you will find something that you can get paid $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $40 an hour. You just have to look in the right places and know where to go. It takes a little bit of time and effort, but ultimately it's worth it. Or you could spend, a bunch of time and effort staying at this job, stay in your lane at $10 an hour, and that's an option too. And you can save up and have discipline, which also works, but it's not as efficient for the long term. You can't stay at the same wage forever and still expect to, live. Minimum wage was designed for teenagers and such to be able to, start into employment, start into the workforce, and have an experience in the workforce. So living on minimum wage is not necessarily doable forever. It's not meant to be that way. The government didn't set it up that way. In many states, there are some states where it's high enough where you can survive, but you're just surviving. So why don't you thrive instead and choose to make more money after you have, all your expenses and stuff paid for? Start looking for another job. You can look for another job while you have a job. There's no law that says you can't do that. So look for another job, keep your job, let your job know you're quitting after you already have a new job. So have a new job, then let them know, 2-week notice. Let them know at your new job you'll be there in 2 weeks, and start in 2 weeks, and make the transition for a higher pay. It's worth it. Beyond that, managing money specifically, there are different types of accounts that you can manage and hold your money in. The way that I do it or started out with was I had a checking account and a savings account. Nowadays, these are a little bit more broken and I've gotten to a higher level, but if you're starting out, have a checking account, have a savings account. A checking account is basically a pool of money that you have on a card that you can use at will at any time. Like a debit account is what they call it also. Checking or debit account. And then with a savings account, it's a pool of money where you can hold and leave it there. And you also can have a card for it, but it's typically for like long-term savings. Banks nowadays pay you like a couple cents per year, like 25 cents per year. Max, sometimes more, sometimes less, like a percentage of however much money you have in there for the savings account, and it's not really worth it to grow your money. So that's not a responsible way to grow money in a savings account anymore. It used to be. There used to be an incentive for it, but no longer. if once you've got that part down, I would graduate to credit cards. Get a secured credit card, which is basically just a glorified debit card or checking account card that allows you to build your credit. Right? When you start out from zero in credit score, you have to start somewhere, and a secured credit card is a very good way to start. Go to your local bank and ask them about secured credit cards. If they can't do it, find a different bank that can. And it's okay to have multiple different banks. That's something that I didn't know as a kid. I wish somebody would have told me that. You can have many different banks. You can work with many different people. If someone has a better deal for you, work with them. If someone has a better deal or better offers later on, work with them. You can work with any bank that you choose. You don't have to just use the one that your parents want you to, or whatever. All right, so with managing money there, you typically, for example, like once you get a real credit card, like let's say your secured credit card has $500. In the secured credit card, you put in $500 of your own money, and then you spend it, and then you have to repay it as well over time. So keep adding money to it to keep it at that 500 balance, essentially, and keep re-adding money. With a regular credit card, it's pretty similar, except you're borrowing someone else's money. So let's say I'm borrowing $500 of the bank's money, and I have to pay that. I spend $200 of that $500 or something like that on a bike. I still have to, I'm using someone else's money to pay for that bike, but I still have to pay back that $200 over time and get the balance back to zero. If I have 500 here, and here's the total of it right here. If I have 500 total, if I spend 200 of it, I have to pay back this 200 to make it 500 again, if that makes sense. That's how you manage it. And there's certain reporting periods where you have to make sure that it's paid before then. So make sure that you always pay off your credit cards as quickly as possible, or else there are penalties and fines, and your credit score will go down, which is bad, and because you're trying to get it to go up. With managing money, also there are spiritual things that you can do as well. Something that I did was I took money and I called them money friends, and this is more of like a spiritual / energetic type of thing for money. I believe money has energy, and all things in the world have an energy. And if I want to align my energy with money and get more money, I have to keep money on me at all times and cherish it and love it and care for it. So what I do is I take $100 bill, or as much money as I want to, anywhere from $300 to $500. I put it in a money clip or a paper clip, and then I stick it inside my wallet and keep it with me wherever I go. And I don't care if I lose it. I'm okay with it. Like, it's just there and it's supposed to stay in that money clip forever, basically, because it's only so I remind myself that I have money. Because a lot of people, they come from a mindset of scarcity instead of abundance. And with scarcity on this side and abundance on this side, the difference is when you have scarcity, you're always worried about money. You have I can't afford this sort of mindset. But when you have money, you can always afford things, if that makes sense. With that money, in my mind, I know I can afford something, but I still turn it down. So it's a different type of mindset, if that makes sense. It's kind of a spiritual thing or energetic thing, right? Where if you believe that you have money and you can buy things, it's a positive mindset instead of a negative mindset full of lacking and not having, and when you're in a state of having money, more money comes to you. So when you have money, more money comes to you. Like, I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but rich people, when they have no problem getting money because they already have money. They use their money to make more money, right? So start out that way. Put some money in your wallet that you're never going to spend. Choose $100, $300, or $500, whichever one you want to attract. And you'll start to notice that more money opportunities come to you over time. And don't spend that money. Don't give it away. Keep it in your wallet. Keep it on your person if you can. and it'll raise your money vibration. It'll raise your money energy so that you can attract more money into your life. On top of that, what I did after that fact, I did this on a larger scale as well. And I used an app called Truebill, which is like a multi useful money managing app. It's now called Rocket something, and you can look it up. It's like Truebill or Rocket something, and there's other ones you can do as well called like Capital with the QUAPITAL or something like that. Um, there's basically what they do is they tell you they go through your bank account and they organize things into recurring payments. And I think there's one called Dave and Bridget as well, possibly maybe Albert or something. Um, but these apps, what they do is they read through, an AI reads through all of your bank account um, things, and you have to be okay with that. Sign agreements and security things and whatever. And it reads through your stuff. It basically tells you, oh, hey, this is a recurring payment. We're going to, show you this in this category for this month, and eventually it'll basically tell you um, how much you've been paying per month for this, or how much, what percentage of your money is going towards food or gas or car repairs or rent or fun times, like whatever you're spending the most money on. It'll categorize it and be able to tell you that. It's very useful to help see where your money is going, to help you manage it, and know, like, hey, maybe I'll spend less money on, fun, or less money on gas, or less money on food. I'll, cook more often instead of going to eat out or something. And it'll help you see where your money is going, which helps you manage your money much better. So I highly recommend that. I'm not sponsored by any of those apps that I recommended, but I would suggest using them if you feel comfortable. It's your responsibility, and I'm not held liable if anything goes wrong. This is just my experience and what worked for me. So I hope you can take something from that and it works for you as well. On top of that, when I use this app, there's a setting in it where you can save money for a specific purpose, right? And what I did was I took a little bit of Dave Ramsey's ideologies, where he talks about like saving an emergency fund, and I'm sure many like financial gurus and financial people talk about saving an emergency fund, but I want to tweak it a little bit. I don't want you to save an emergency fund. I want you to save a contingency plan or contingency fund. And the reason why is I believe money has an energy, right? And when you put it towards, like, let's say I'm collecting money for a specific purpose, like let's say I really want to go to Disneyland, right? If I am collecting that money for Disneyland, that money energy is going to be used for fun, right? And so it'll have a fun energy. It'll be fun to, make that money and whatever. But if you're saving up money for an emergency, that means you're preparing for something bad to happen as if it's going to happen, if that makes sense. Like, you're like, all right, something bad's going to happen in the future. I have to prepare for it. I don't really want to do this. So it's not as fun. It's also attracting an emergency, essentially, like energetically. Like, you're planning on having an emergency, if that makes sense. So call it a contingency plan, because a contingency, nobody knows what it means. And basically, a contingency can be used for anything, right? Like anything that happens to come up. It doesn't have to be for a specific emergency or whatever. So save $1,000 for contingency, and then after that, start saving $3,000. I personally started saving $3,000 for investing purposes, or real estate or whatever I wanted to do personally. And then I started saving for a wedding fund, and then I started saving for travel as well. And so you can make multiple different like travels or accounts for travel and different things. And each of these accounts, you can choose how it's going to withdraw money out of your account. So like, for example, it can withdraw $1 out of your account per day, or $1 out of your, or $10 out of your account per week. Or you can set it how you want it to go. It can also have a smart, it can take like a percentage of whatever it is. It has like an AI feature in Truebill or Rocket, where you can set it up where like it takes a certain percentage, or just does it in a smart, savings way, and that helps a lot. I personally just chose to do it in a specific way, and I wanted to save and everything like that. But once I saved that money, I felt better. Like, you feel so much better when you have money versus when you don't have money, right? So when you're in a vibration of having money, more money is coming to you because you're relaxed. You know you have money. You know you're safe. If anything bad happens, you have extra money. And so you become more free to get more money, and more money will come to you, if that makes sense. So focus on that for managing money, as well as I have other videos that talk about investing. I have other videos that talk about raising your wages. I have other videos that talk about starting businesses and things like that. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment those below. In managing money, there are so many different ways and types of ways to manage, and this is what worked for me. I hope that you can take something from it and that it worked for you. And let me know if you guys have any questions below, like I said. So go ahead and comment. Thank you guys for watching to the end. I hope you guys have the day you deserve, and let's level up.